Today, we're going to talk about one of the biggest reselling tools that nobody really ever talks about. Morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is a brisk Friday fall morning here in Washington, D.C. We're out here with Ace. He's using the bathroom right there. He said, I'm going inside, bro. It's too cold. So, good morning, everybody. Today's going to be a fun day. It's always a fun day. We try to make every day a fun day. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share, all that good stuff. Big shout out to everybody in the chat. We appreciate all the love and all the support. All right. So, today we're going to talk about one of the biggest reselling tools that nobody really ever talks about. This is going to be one of our first viewer requested videos. So this is one of the videos that somebody had commented on that they would like to see. So we are bringing it to you because we are here for you, the people. We are a people of the people, okay? So before we get started on that though, we do have some items that are going out the door. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And another item upstairs. So we're gonna go ahead and go over these sales, and then we're gonna talk about the number one reselling tool that nobody talks about. So we're gonna go upstairs. We're gonna go upstairs and do this because they're mowing the lawn at the elementary school across the street, and I don't want to be all, you know what I'm saying? So we're gonna go upstairs to the studio. We're gonna go over the sales that are going out this Friday morning, and then we're going to talk about the reselling tools. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are up here back in the studio. We're going to go over some sales, and we're going to talk about a comment that we got on a previous video, which is going to lead us into today's main topic, which is going to be the number one reselling tool that nobody really talks about, but is very important. And the last sale I'm going to show you is one of the reasons why it's very important. So we're going to go ahead and talk about some sales really fast. Once again, I forgot my phone stand, so we will be reading off of my phone the sales that are going out today that you guys saw a couple minutes ago on the shipping station table. Up first, how about a vintage Pyrex bowl? Okay, shout out to my guy, okay, Richard, over at Otnip Drop. Oh my gosh, I always mess this up. I thought I was gonna be able to hit it in one thing. My guy Richard over at Otnip Drop Flips. Big shout out to my guy. If you guys don't know, that spells Ford Pinto backwards. Make sure you guys go over to his channel and show him some love. He asked a question on the same video for the video that I told everybody to drop your questions on, and videos you guys want to see more on. And we are going to do an entirely new updated Pyrex video. We actually have a couple that we're working on. But he asked, is vintage Pyrex still worth selling? Well, our first sale today is a vintage Pyrex primary green round mixing bowl 403 mid-century modern. Now you can see in that title, I list every single Pyrex listing the same exact way. I started with vintage Pyrex, then I put the pattern, then I put the type of bowl it is, and then I put the number of the model. And then I will probably follow it up with some sort of descriptive word like mid-century modern. So I got this bowl. Ma Dukes picked this one up. Shout out Ma Dukes. She picked up some Pyrex bowls from a friend of hers. So they were doing a little clean out. So we were definitely fortunate to get this bowl. It would have sold for a little bit more money. It did have some scratches on it that were noted in the listing, but it sold for $20 plus shipping, and it was sold within 3 days. So that was a quick sale. So yes, Richard, vintage Pyrex is worth selling. Definitely, obviously, more patterns are worth more money than others. It always depends on the price in which you're getting the Pyrex bowl at, and those are some of the things we're going to be going over in a future video. Up next, this was a vintage milk glass quilted hurricane lampshade. Okay, I got 3 of these shades from my guy Cernok. If you guys aren't following us on the Reseller Information Network, make sure you guys do so. Cernock picked these up at his honey hole and didn't want to deal with them, so he passed them along to me. I'm always grateful for my friend Cernock hooking me up with some glass pieces. So this sold for $19.99 plus shipping. Both of these sales are on eBay. Up next, we sold a baseball card, okay? Now, the World Series just ended. This player won World Series MVP. If you guys want to learn more about items that sell that are sports related, please subscribe to our other channel, Over the Years Sports. There is a link in the description below. That is the channel where we will go over all the sports related stuff that we sell, how to source, collecting them, talking to different people throughout the industry. It's a lot of fun. So this was a 2010 Bowman Chrome draft. Corey Seager, it was his first Bowman Chrome. I did put World Series MVP in the title because he did win World Series MVP. This sold in a few hours, and it sold for full asking price of $15.99 plus shipping. Up next, we have, oh, this was a beautiful teacup. When I was getting ready to do this video, I was like, damn, I don't remember where I got this from, but it was recently, within like the last like week or so. I think I got it at one of the church sales. But this was a vintage Lindner Echt Cobalt Blue and Gold teacup and saucer. The name of the pattern, I believe, was Goldgrasser. And this sold within a week, and it sold for $25 plus shipping. So a really good sale. If you ever see this cobalt blue and gold stuff, make sure you look at the bottoms, like one of our previous videos we talked about, always looking at the markings. If you guys haven't seen that video, we'll put a link up there for you. But yeah, this sold for $25 plus shipping on eBay. Once again, beautiful, beautiful photo. All of these pictures are done in Photo Room. If you guys go to photoroom.com on your computer and you use code RIN, you guys can get a discount on the software, the app, and then you guys can start using that on your phone or your computer to edit your photos and get AI backgrounds. Up next, we're going to talk about, I'm going to save that one for last. This is a very old listing on Etsy, and it's a reminder of me of what I need to do to go through all this inventory and just really fix listings, decide what needs to just, we got to give up on, and just revamping everything. But this was a vintage Anchor Hawking block optic yellow. The listing says Vaseline glass. Now, this is probably a bad way to list this, although it does glow. I don't know if I would necessarily phrase it as Vaseline glass now. With all the knowledge that I have, this listing is years old. Okay. It did sell for $9.99 plus shipping on Etsy. That is going out the door. But yeah, uranium glass plate, and it was a salad plate, 8 inches wide. Up next on Etsy, we sold a pennant. This was a vintage Princeton University pennant. It was wool felt sort of material. And then I put the colors in the title, put Princeton University Tiger pennant because it had the big tiger on there. This sold for $29.99 plus shipping on Etsy. Next going out. This is going out. Okay, this was from my other YouTube channel, Authentic in the Beard. If you guys aren't subscribed to that, subscribe to that. That was a winning prize. We give away a trivia prize every Thursday on Authentic in the Beard. This was sponsored by our good friend Keith over at Vintage Sport Flips. Make sure you guys go over there, show him some love. Thank you for sponsoring that giveaway. It was a really cool 1967 New York Giants poster. So that was going out to a lucky winner. And then last but certainly not least, and the reason why I say this one for last is because it's going to transition into what we're going to talk about in today's video. This is a beautiful toothpick holder. This sold within 2 or 3 days. I probably underpriced it, to be perfectly honest with you. But it did sell for $19.99 plus shipping. This was a toothpick holder that I picked up at an estate sale on Saturday. I listed it on Tuesday, and it sold on Thursday. This is an antique Jefferson glass. The name of the pattern is Tokyo, also known as pattern number 212. It is opalescent white, okay, because that's the color of this actual piece, and it is a toothpick holder. So you see how I broke down that title in this listing. It sold for $19.99 plus shipping. So definitely really happy about that sale as well. So those are all the sales that we are going to be dropping off at the post office as soon as we finish recording and editing this video this morning. All right. So the reason why I saved that one for last is today's video is going to be about research books. Okay, so shout out to Sandra P. You guys see the comment on the screen right now. It says, would love to see a video on your research book collection and also tips on how to ID when it's not in the book and you don't have worth point. Thanks for the news. Love all you share. Shout out to Sandra P. We appreciate the love and the support and the question. So we're going to we are going to answer this question. We are going to touch on some of this stuff. And obviously this is a loaded thing. And I think a lot of these videos we're just going to do multiple videos on some of your suggestions, because I think it's easier for people to digest some information at once and then kind of, more information in a second video, as opposed to just, really long drawn out videos. So just kind of like we're taking baby steps here. Okay. So the first thing is my research book collection. You guys can see right here behind me. This is just one little baby shelf. So these are some of my main books. And then you guys can see down there on that shelf, there's a whole nother shelf of books. And then also at my Duke's house, I have an entire bookshelf that I have not been able to transfer over here. I've been waiting until we started building the shed. News on that is coming soon. And so I think I'm going to start bringing those over. So I think when I can have all of the books together, we're going to be able to do a video on my collection. Okay. But this kind of sparked some ideas for me. Now, also, Sandra P mentioned, if you don't have worth point, if you guys haven't seen our video on worth point, make sure you guys go up there and check out that video when you're done here. Also, there is a referral link and code that you can use in the description for worth point. One of the biggest things that everybody, talks about worth point for their pricing, and one of the biggest points we brought up about using worth point is the other tools that are on WorthPoint. One of the biggest tools, most underrated tools, and it kind of goes into what we're talking about today. The number one research tool, reseller tool that nobody ever talks about is books. Okay, there's so much information. Now, obviously, this is going to be mostly directed at glass and ceramic, but there is going to be some examples of how you can use these books and this tool to help you, even if you're not selling just glass or ceramic. So in WorthPoint, you can literally look up any book, and you can look that book up and use that book, flip through those pages of that book on WorthPoint. So it is an amazing tool. Now, to answer the rest of Sandra's question as far as, how else do you ID it? The only other ways once you get to that point is, it's going to be like steps. So like you want to use keywords. Like you see how, for example, in my my listing, I used those descriptive words. So sometimes I'll type in those descriptive words in Google search and look through images and see if I find a match. If I find a match, then I'll kind of follow the lead, follow the paper trail. Now, also you can use Google Lens, which is a huge tool. You just want to take a picture of the item and search that image, and then hopefully you could come up with a match. But this kind of leads into, once again, the books. So the problem is with the internet is a lot of times people don't know what something is. So they may not know what the pattern of this glass is. So they might just put red and orange glass goblet. And so that doesn't necessarily help you. A lot of times finding the true value of an antique item or a vintage item heavily relies on understanding the item itself, understanding the maker, understanding the pattern, understanding exactly what the item is. Because one of the things we'll talk about in these books is the difference between an inch of a plate or a cup could be hundreds of dollars. Okay, so the reason why we talked about the toothpick holder last was because I use this book right here, okay? And we'll put it up on the screen for you guys. This is the Glass Toothpick Holders book. This book is literally over 250 pages of toothpick holders, okay? And it tells you the pattern name, tells you the maker, and it gives you an estimated value. Now remember, Okay, this is going to be something that's very important with all of these books. Okay, this book was made in. See if I can find it. This book was made in 2005. Obviously, prices have changed dramatically from 2005. A lot of these books are older. Some of these books are from the 90s. Some of these books are from the 80s. Some of these books are from the 70s and 60s. It's crazy. So when you see an item, though, if you see a item in this book or any of these books, and the value in the book is $200, you know that that's a valuable piece right now. It might not be worth $200, but you know that it is valuable, especially in comparison to if you see a toothpick holder in this book that may only be $20. And you know, like, things change with trends. So, you know, prices are always fluctuating. But the amount of information that you can get from a book is so much different than the information that you're going to be able to find online. I'm not saying that all the online information is bad, because obviously I use online information too. But with the books, you have a little bit more certainty on some of the details, and those details can mean the big difference between making a lot of money and, you know, underpricing an item. So what happens is I always use this analogy when I'm talking about this, is the telephone game. So somebody may say, you know, that this item is made by Fenton, okay, which is one of the biggest mistakes that people make when listing glass online, is everybody wants to say everything is Fenton. So then the next person who finds this and is researching it, they say it's Fenton. And so then the next person says it's Fenton. So by the time you're looking it up and you find it out, half of the people say it's made by Fenton Glass. The other half of the people say it's made by L.E. Smith. And then half of the people say it's made by Imperial. So what do? How do you determine the actuality of, you know, what this item is? Another good research tool to answer Sandra's question, if you don't have WorthPoint, if you don't have books, is comparing. Once you compile information, use that information, go to a website like replacements.com, where you can kind of compare, you know, and look at pictures and see what they have it listed as far as the maker goes. And there are tons of websites out there, and I should probably work on a list of my favorite websites that I use and kind of give that to everybody. That way you guys can have those kind of tools at your fingertips. I definitely need to write that down so that we do that. But there are tons of books out there, hundreds and thousands of books. Okay, and like I said, WorthPoint, you can access all of them. But if you ever find these books at estate sales, yard sales, church sales, thrift stores, pick them up. They're totally worth it. I think you're probably better off finding these books at thrift stores, to be perfectly honest with you, because I think that sometimes, more times than not, estate sales will price these a little bit higher. You can always order them online too, but they can be very expensive. They're worth money themselves, the books themselves. But I mean, you could see some of our favorite books that we flashed up on the screen. This was obviously the toothpick holder book. This is a glass candlestick book. We talked about this in the previous video. This is a carnival glass book. Fantastic book. Has so many different patterns in there. This is a really good one too. Elegant glassware of the Depression era, because that is some of the most valuable glass that is out there that you can find. And then obviously a Fire King glassware book. This is a classic book right here. Then we get into some older books that are very, very niche down. And this one is about lamps and lighting devices. And this is antique stuff, 1850s to 1906. This is talking about hurricane lamps, Gone with the Wind lamps, those sort of things. Here we go, a tool book. Okay, now this is me telling you guys that there are books out there for everything, not just, you know, glass and ceramic, but there are also books on tools. There's books on toys, all types of different stuff. And then you have one, shout out to my guy Leroy. I look at Antique Tools book, I think of my guy Leroy, Blood, Sweat, and Sell. Make sure you guys go show him some love. He's also on the Reseller Information Network with myself, OBX Picker, Eric, and Cernock from Cernock's Connection. Here goes another really cool book, Primitives of American Heritage. This is great knowledge for you to have if you're like in a barn sale. You know, those sort of things. You want to look for these real antique items, these primitive items that, you know, there's a ton of people out there that collect this sort of stuff. This is a bottle pricing guide. Okay. Now remember, like I said, you're looking for information in here. You're not necessarily looking at this book and being like, oh, this is worth that. That used to work like that, but it doesn't work like that in today's world. So, but it does give you an idea of value, gives you an idea of what to look for, information and what makes a bottle valuable. Like these are just things that are super important. And then last is going to show you this depression glass book. Now there are many different versions of this book, tons of them. And these are really important, excuse me, because depression glass is glass that you probably see the most out in the wild. Now, it's really good for you to identify these patterns because some patterns are worth tons of money. Other patterns are worth not a lot of money at all. And this one is going to be really good for you because you have the price charts broken down, right? And it broken down by item. So you may look through that price chart and be like, this cup is worth $5, but this cup is an inch taller and it's worth $95. Now, when I say worth, I'm talking about the value that they have it listed in the book. So then now you figured that out. You take that information, you plug it into, eBay, WorthPoint, whatever it is, and you see what they're going for now. Okay. Now you have that information in your head. Okay. Before, you would be at a sale maybe and you'd be like, oh, that cup's only worth $5. But you didn't pull out your little baby tape measure it, and realize, holy smokes, that is the 5.5-inch cup. That's worth $100. And I just let it go. So that's why these books are so important. I used to sit down and I would just concentrate on a pattern and just try and let it soak in my mind so that if I was out in the wild, I knew that I would be able to find that pattern because I remember reading about it in a book, and to have that information on WorthPoint at your fingertips is another that's a tool and a half. So the information that you can get in one book, this one book, might take you hours to find all that information online, unless obviously you were using WorthPoint, you looked this book up. But the amount of information on some of this stuff is what makes this stuff valuable. Isn't just now what you know now. There have been people that have been collecting and have been studying glass, ceramic, porcelain. We have books on Flow Blue over there, toys, collectible toys. Toys from the 50s, the 60s, the 70s. A lot of those toy books that came out in the 90s were very popular. And then that's how you learn about vintage toys, tools. We showed you tools, lamps. There's so many different types of books out there. If you find these books out in the wild, pick them up. It is worth every single penny because this sort of information to have at your fingertips, not even just if you're researching this item, okay, because it's not as easy as, it might take time during the research, but this is like pre-research information that I think is valuable as a reseller. Having as much information stored in your head as possible is what makes or breaks what you can find when you are outsourcing. So for me, this is a tool that is not talked about enough in the reselling community. And like I said, obviously, a lot of this information is geared towards glass, porcelain, ceramic. But I showed you books on tools. There's books on toys. I know I have a bunch of toy ones at Ma Duke's house. This is how you learn. This is how you verify. This is how you have some certainty because a lot of times it is very, very tough. And a lot of times also, if you're in like these glass groups, a lot of times people will refer to a certain book that has that item and that's how they identified it. Or a catalog. We have Fenton glass books over here too. So this is valuable information. Hopefully we're going to try and bring back some identifying shows soon. We have a huge announcement we're going to be making within hopefully the next week that involves myself and the guys over at Resell Information Network. It is big, big, big news. And there's going to be a way where we're going to be able to link that news to doing some identification videos for everybody as well. So also, we're going to give away a book. Okay. We don't know which book it is. You don't know which book it is. But we are going to give away a book from our own personal collection. So if you made it this far in the video, congratulations to you because now you're going to have a chance to win a book. So if you, let's see, you got to figure something out in the chat. Let's say toothpick. Okay. In your comment, make sure you guys put toothpick. And in the next video, we're going to randomly draw a winner from all of the people that commented using the word toothpick in the comment section. And then somebody will win a one of our books from our personal collection. So that's going to be, you know, part of our giveaway theme that we're going to keep going with throughout the next couple of months. Don't forget, if you guys are shopping on eBay and you're shopping in our store, you can use this code for an additional discount on any item in our store. Just another little give back to all the viewers who watch us. So we appreciate all the love and all the support. I feel like I'm missing something. There was something else I wanted to say or wanted to do, and I cannot remember right now what it was, and it's going to drive me crazy. But shout out to everybody in the chat, the viewers who are watching. Thank you for all the love and the support. Don't forget to keep those comments coming. We're going to be working on these videos as much as we possibly can. Don't forget to subscribe to Reseller Information Network. Don't forget to subscribe to Over the Years Sports. Don't forget to subscribe to Authentic and the Beard. I know it's a lot of channels. You don't have to subscribe to all of them. But if you guys like any of this stuff, it's definitely worth the subscription. And it's free. It's free. Free is good. Free is good. So we're going to close this video out. Hopefully that helped you guys and encouraged you guys. And hopefully Sandra gave you a little bit of information as far as what to do if you don't have books or you don't have WorthPoint. But yeah, we appreciate all the love and all the support. Everybody enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, wherever it is you are and whatever time it may be where you are. As always, YouTube, stay classy. Peace.